Welcome back, guys, to another video on the channel. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Today's video, guys, I want to talk about a West Ham topic, and it's going to be Pablo Fornals. Does he deserve some of the criticism that goes his way, and is the criticism warranted? But guys, make sure you get your opinion down below. I'm very interested. I do read every single comment, so make sure you get your opinion down below regarding this discussion. Guys, if you're new around here, support West Ham. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit a like on the video. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, Pablo Fornals, ever since he's come in to West Ham, he has pretty much split opinion of the fan base. You see, some fans, it's similar to Sebastian Haller. Some fans really like him. Some fans see that he has got quality, but then there are areas of improvement in his game. And for me personally, my opinion is that Pablo Fornals was a £24 million signing. He was a Pellegrini signing, firstly. So it wasn't a David Moyes' player. However, when David Moyes took over the second time around, he wasn't actually one of the first names on the team sheet. He was someone that was always in and out of the team. Sometimes he played 1 or 2 games here. And a lot of fans would be crying out for David Moyes pre-match and be like, start Fornals in a central position. He is a central player. However, he is being asked to do a job out wide because of the system that David Moyes has implemented at West Ham, being the 5-2-3. Now, Fornals, some of the pros that he does possess, fantastic work rate. When you're playing as a wide player in those positions, you are expected to go and help your fullback, your opposite number in Masuaku and Jarrod Bowen on the right-hand side. It's a must position where you have got to sort of set the tone with defending from the front. But also, you've got to help those wing-backs when they go forward, maybe a little bit too forward sometimes, and you've got to actually come and help them and maybe double up on certain players. Do you remember Adama Traore? West Ham, when we beat at Wolves 4-0, Pablo Fornals and Masuaku combined, as well as Aaron Cresswell in that matter as well. The 3 of them, between them, nullified the threat of Wolves, and he was dragged off after 60 minutes. They thought, you know what, Adama Traore, been marked out of the game, dragged off after 60 minutes. Now, let's talk about the goal contributions, because I do want to touch on Jarrod Bowen as well, because it is pretty much at the moment on West Ham Twitter, West Ham discussion, Pablo Fornals gets all this criticism, but why doesn't Jarrod Bowen? And I want to talk about both of them a little bit. So let's talk about the goal contributions. 2 assists and 2 goals so far. So 4 goal contributions for Pablo Fornals. And Bowen has got 3 goal contributions, 3 goals, 0 assists. Now, why do I think Fornals gets a lot of this stick? I feel like both in their own right, especially Bowen can be a little bit too selfish at times. There's been a couple examples where he cuts in on that from that right hand side on his left foot, and maybe there's a better option, a better pass, maybe a killer through ball, and he will go for the shot. An example being the Sheffield United game at the weekend. In my opinion, he should have pulled that ball back for Sebastian Haller. And I feel like some criticism does go maybe unnoticed of Jarrod Bowen. It's not so much criticism. I won't call it criticism as much. It's more of areas for improvement. Because, to be honest, I feel like Pablo Fornals and Jarrod Bowen, for the price we paid at 24, 25 million, both of them, you've got to say, have been fantastic signings. Fornals maybe has been the better, has been good since, the first lockdown, post-lockdown, and has carried into some decent form, but there is areas for improvement. So I feel like that is why, Fornals possibly is because of Said Benrahma. Said Benrahma is a new signing from Brentford, originally a loan deal with an obligation for permanent. So I do believe that maybe some of the criticism thrown Fornals' way is because of the new signing of Said Benrahma. All fans want to see Said Benrahma, start. We want to see him play. We want to see new players, new signings, especially those big name signings. Well, not essentially a big name because he come from the Championship, but big money signings. Said Benrahma will cost, if all things go well regarding the medical, he will cost West Ham £30 million. So he will be a big signing, in terms of monetary value for West Ham. So I do feel like a lot of criticism people put towards Fornals is because they want to see Said Benrahma. Now, where can Fornals improve? And I feel like he's one of those players that he goes through spells during the game. Sometimes he's absolutely fantastic. He goes through a period where he's absolutely fantastic, and then he goes through a period of, he's very frustrating. Now, what do I mean regarding that? Now, both wingers, not just Pablo Fornals. Pablo Fornals and Jarrod Bowen, they need to improve their final ball. They need to improve that final decision making. As I said, Bowen should have pulled the ball back. Should have pulled the ball back to an on-running Sebastian Haller, who could have then run onto the ball and maybe swept it into the corner. However, there's been a couple of times this season already where Pablo Fornals' final decision-making has cost the team. Going back to Liverpool in a tight match, we was 1-1 at the time. He should have pulled the ball back. He should have pulled the ball back for Jarrod Bowen for tapping. Didn't do that. Decided to shoot. Therefore, got blocked. And Liverpool ended up winning the game 2-1. Now, had that decision been the right one, which was pulling the ball back for Bowen for pretty much a tap-in or, a free shot from 6 yards out, and you would have liked to know that Jarrod Bowen probably would have scored that. He decided not to. Shot gets blocked, and we do lose 2-1. So it's just those killer moments where we need to be a little bit more assertive and make the right decision. And then in the Sheffield United game, Fornals has got loads of time, and he's coming inside, and then Sebastian Haller is free in the middle of the box. He's free in the middle of the box on the edge of the D, screaming for the ball, and Fornals decides to check back and then play a ball behind him. He just doesn't play the ball in front of him. If he plays the ball into Sebastian Haller, he is through 1-1. Now, out of the two, you've goal contribution wise, they've both played the same amount of games, 9 games. So Pablo Fornals has got 2 goals, 2 assists, more goal contributions. Now, I feel like, as I said, the thing that is most frustrating, because it could have been a lot more. He could have got a couple more goals. He is someone, whilst he is very young, guys, we have to remember these 2 players are very young. And I'm not bashing them. It's just something for sort of like areas for improvement rather than criticism. Because I feel like there's a difference between sort of slagging off a player and then giving constructive criticism, and areas like the coaches have probably said areas where they can improve. Every single player can improve. So it's not sort of bashing them, it is essentially constructive criticism and where they can improve going forward. Because I feel like at the moment, both of them, whilst they offer fantastic work rate, they've both do have a little bit of a goal threat. More Jarrod Bowen than Fornals. But I just feel like both wingers right now, their main concern is improving that final ball and final decision, because if we can get that right, we'll probably score a lot more goals. They'd get a lot more goal contributions. As I said, I feel like that's the frustration with Pablo Fornals. Whilst he has got the most goal contributions for the club in terms of goals and assists, it could have been a hell of a lot more. If he done that, if he pulled the ball back to Bowen, right, that's 3 assists. If he pulls the ball back for Sebastian Haller, that's 4. And there's a couple of times in the earlier games, such as Newcastle United at home, when he's 5 or 6 yards out, and his composure just isn't really there sometimes when it comes to actually sort of the killer instinct. The ball comes over and he's rash and he smashes it over the bar. And there's a couple of rash decisions that he does make in front of goal. But guys, as I said, this isn't bashing. It's sort of constructive criticism. And the thing we've got to remember, guys, these are only 23 years of age. 23 years of age. So the more they get used to this system, the more they play in this system, and the more they play, they will improve that sort of consistency in regards to decision making. And guys, Pablo Fornals as well is being played out of position. For me, he's probably best central because of his pace. He's been asked to play as a sort of an inside forward or winger on the left hand side. And one of the fundamentals, attributes that you need to pull that position off is pace. And he's he doesn't have the pace. You can tell he doesn't really have the pace in order to go at his fullback, beat his fullback, get a crossing. So a lot of the time, Fornals, when he does get the ball, he does slow the game down a little bit. He checks back inside. He plays the inside ball because, fundamentally his pace just isn't there. So he sort of has to adapt his game on that left wing and sort of play as a playmaker, but on the wing, where if you go back to, Dimitri Payet, similar kind of players in terms of, they're creative players. But Dimitri Payet, whilst he was a little bit of a stocky guy, he had a bit more pace about him. I don't like going back to him every single time. But, Dimitri Payet was that kind of player. Very creative, had a bit more pace about him than Fornals. However, at the right moments, he made the key decisions which helped us win games or get points or get a goal back or whatever the scenario is. And if Pablo Fornals can improve that, I do believe we have got a huge player for the next couple of seasons, because that's all it is. That's what separates good players and great players, is the key moments, is the key decisions. And if Pablo Fornals can, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight because No, consistency doesn't happen overnight. Ronaldo wasn't consistent from as soon as he played football. It just seemed to happen, you know, as sort of maturity. As soon as he got older, boom, 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 50 goals, 50 goals, 50 goals, 50 goals, 60 goals. So when Pablo Fornals just makes those better decisions, and that will come with time. I feel like that will come with time. And do I generally think that criticism is warranted? I feel like some of it is warranted in terms of he's got to make he's got to make a better decision and a better final ball. But I feel like that's the same for Bowen. So it's not just Fornals, but I feel like Fornals gets it a lot more than Jarrod Bowen, because Jarrod Bowen, if he was to get injured or, you know, if he was to get dropped, who are you realistically playing out wide? You've got Yarmolenko, however, he's out with COVID. You know, you don't really have anyone to come in and play that position for Bowen. However, on the left-hand side, we have got someone that we've just signed inside Benrahma, and people want to see him. Fans want to see this guy play. His first, well, he come on against Liverpool, couple of nutmegs. Second game against Fulham, whilst he did give away a penalty, he come on, he attacked the fullback, which, you know, something that Fornals can't do. Fornals can't attack a fullback and get round him because he doesn't really have the pace, whilst he might have the dribbling ability, where Benrahma's got both. He's got the pace, he's got the dribbling ability, and then the composure in the final third to pull the ball back. And that's what I'm talking about, that vital moments, because I remember saying to my friends that if Fornals was in that position against Fulham, okay, would he have brought the ball down and played that ball to Soucek, or would he have brought the ball down and then shot and try and bend it round the defender in the corner against Fulham? And judging by previous evidence, I would go with the latter. He would have brought the ball down and had a shot. Now, Benrahma, he brought the ball down, realised that the shooting angle was probably a little bit too difficult. However, had the composure and the vital decision in order to just lay the ball back for Thomas Soucek, who was running onto the ball to hit it in the corner. That's exactly what Jarrod Bowen could have done as well. Pull the ball back for on-running Sebastian Haller against Sheffield United. So, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Make sure you guys get your opinions down. Now, guys, just to clarify, I wasn't bashing them. It's just, I'm just sort of comparing the two, because Fornals does get a lot of criticism. Now, as I said, I just feel like that criticism is because he gets a lot more criticism because we've got Said Benrahma on the bench and fans want to see him. Jarrod Bowen, we don't really have someone else who can maybe play on the right-hand side. You've got Yarmolenko, but they're pretty much exactly the same player. You know, people want to see the new signing. So that is why I feel like West Ham fans are a little bit too harsh on Fornals. Sometimes I'm too harsh on Fornals. However, I do think both of them need to improve their final decision making. And if they can do that, we've got some very, very good wide men in those positions. Guys, as I said, that's going to be the end of the video. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit the subscribe for more West Ham videos and content. I'll catch you next time. See you later.